Bring the boss one, I'm gonna get mine. Go through the climb, if you can do the time, don't tell me how you all down. When you smile in my face, but you're sleeping like a clown, it's your fool bitch. So just step back, or I'm mad dad when I call down straight. I thought you were my piece, but you played me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I won't let down. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's think. Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's think. Let's go. I'm back on the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a lean revolution machine. For what people stay, they sweat. One new day is good as any day. Y'all feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and walk like this. Promises over the top. Don't cross the line, but you know it's fine. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's go. Whoa. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? 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 Who you wanna roll with?
Huh. Hey, happy Thursday. What's up, Bear?
Not much.
Not much. We just smoked about 4 blunts and maybe 5.
I think this will be 5.
I think this is number 5. So
This
we're,
will be 5.
we're ready. We're ready. I hope you're ready. We got Timothy Tipton coming on later on. He's a great activist from out west. Got some great stories to tell us. William Haney's in the green room, but it says device not connected, William. So if you can hear me, you need to go back out and come back. Try it again. William's locked up. And it's not Facebook jail, it's StreamYard jail. Sorry, William. I had a busy week this week. A lot of busy stuff on Broadway. Bear, you were out there 5 minutes and you saw the bullshit out on Broadway. Within 5 minutes. Imagine.
Yeah. Didn't take me 2 seconds.
It's just super ignorant people.
I saw it pulling up.
A lot of people were like, hey, El Rampador today. But a couple people stopped and yelled at me. That one guy on a bike, you missed that one. He almost hit me. I stopped and I screamed. I stopped and I was like, ah! And he stopped within an inch of me on a scooter thing. I'll take on a scooter. And I thought we were going over. I thought he was going to hit me and we were both going to go over. I really did. I thought that was, I thought it was happening. But it didn't. He just kind of looked at me and said, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" There's a sign over there. It says, well, finally the 48th Street sign is up. The stop for pedestrian sign is up. So that's helpful. At least there's like some.
When did they put it?
They put it a few days ago and it keeps falling down. And they were supposed to put one on 49th, but they didn't. Not yet. Jim Miller, I sent you a link, sir. Do I have to send it to Facebook? So you have to do my engineering now. Facebook, Jim Miller. Jim Miller. I didn't send Jim Miller one here either. Oh my goodness. Not good. It was hung up. Shoot. Oh, no wonder Jim's not on. I send it to everywhere, but oh well. Sue Rosen should have her link, and we should all get started here. But you know what? It was a busy week. I went to Trenton to talk about wheelchair accessibility to the dispensaries, and that was a pretty amazing meeting because I feel like they listened, and well, they always listen, but I think they actually may want to help us and take part because they realize the fight that we're fighting. It's been so long that we're fighting this fight. How long do you think we're going to fight this thing for? Until you realize that we're not going to stop. And we need these things that we're asking for. Wheelchair accessibility to every dispensary is not a lot to ask for. And I feel like I dropped the ball in my ignorance. I just assumed that there would be wheelchair accessibility. I don't know why I would assume that, though. After all the crap that I've seen over the past few years, I just assumed that the dispensaries would be wheelchair accessible. And from what I saw, they were. I never saw a problem with the MSOs, but the small mom and pop ones, they're popping up all over, and a lot of them don't have wheelchair access. And it's not really the owner's fault. Sort of is, but the owner is actually compliant with the ADA because the ADA allows businesses to be grandfathered in. So when you're grandfathered in, you don't have to comply with the ADA. You can make reasonable accommodations, but you don't have to. So if you're grandfathered in, you're good. So the lawyers, the builders, the architects, the engineers, everyone says, "Oh, you're good, you're fine." And well, you're not, because while you have a right to all that, we have a right to protest these things, and that's what people want. I'm getting calls from people that want to protest, and down south in Camden and Mercer County and Trenton. And I'd like to find a solution before that happens, and I explain that to the CRC. Here, I can even, I could show you better here. I don't know if you all saw this, but let's see. Can we do this? Share. Good evening. My name is Edward Lefty Grimes. I'm with SativaCross.org. We're a 501c3 here in New Jersey fighting for cannabis patients' rights and the rights of the disabled. I received a lot of complaints in the last few weeks from wheelchair users all over New Jersey telling me that they can't get into some dispensaries in New Jersey. And I was a little shocked to hear that because I thought that we had regulations in place for that. For example, Commissioner Nash, to her credit, will not give a license to anyone who's not unionized or talking about unionization. And I love that energy. I think that's great. I think we need that same energy for wheelchairs because I'd like to know what is the CRC's regulations for wheelchair accessibility for dispensaries? Nada. Bupkis. Umgats. There is none. You may follow the ADA, but the ADA allows people to be grandfathered in. There's a beautiful dispensary in Maplewood that we're working with right now to help her with her wheelchair access after the fact because this was slipped through the cracks.
We're working with Mad Hatter to fix their accessibility issues. We want to do this before a time of crisis, because I've talked to people in wheelchairs that want to protest every dispensary that has no wheelchair access. I said, wait, hold up, let me talk to the commission first. Let me see if we can work something out, because I was ignorant to a lot of things myself until I wasn't. For example, I fought for 4 years for a traffic light on Avenue C in Bayonne. 4 years. And a blind person reached out to me. He says, Lefty, I know you got this light on Avenue C. I know you're on Broadway working on a light. Can you get a light for a blind person? I said, what's that? It's a light that goes wait, walk. And I was ignorant to that. I did not know that was for blind people. So I feel like I wasted 4 years on Avenue C fighting for a light that was not compliant for everybody. Now I have to go back and get that retrofitted. We don't want a wheelchair war. We want to avoid that at all costs. But they're mad. They're upset. We got disabled vets that can't get into dispensaries that are calling me up, fuming. What are you going to do about this? I'll come to the commission and ask you guys for help. Follow the ADA. Even more. What I would ask is Commissioner Brown. This is your last day in office. On your last day in office, will you introduce a resolution that will allow disabled vets to enter every dispensary in New Jersey, starting now? You can't do nothing about the ones that are already unramped, but starting now, will you introduce an ordinance that will help our disabled vets get into every dispensary? Is that something you can do today? That's what I would ask for. Put the last first. We're patient focused here. Let's prove it. Let's prove it to the patients. Let's prove it. Let's show them that we are patient focused. There's a lot better we can do, and we don't need a wheelchair war. So please help us.
What I like about this, though, is when Commissioner Barker gets up, and I was like, whoa.
Next person on the list is Xavion Jackson.
No, nobody else speaks. But Commissioner Barker does speak.
I'm just going to go through the list of everyone that didn't speak up. Margarita Salyuk,
No.
Tiffany Pearsall, Deanna Robinson, Chris Aponte.
Through.
Not make it physically.
There we go, this right here.
Virtual meeting up.
None. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Right here.
I do have one a new business item to consider that I do want to bring up. If that's okay, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Barker?
I would like to ask my fellow commissioners to consider voting next meeting. And Mr. Grimes, thank you. You consistently raise awareness on inclusivity for all people, and that is not taken lightly. And I know something that we've talked about before has come up before, virtual meetings. Something Mr. Grimes has brought up. A lot of people cannot make it physically to our building. And then there are impediments when they get to the building. So I'm asking, can we vote to add virtual meeting option to our standard meeting protocols, so that those who cannot make it in person can still join us virtually?
So Commissioner Barker, I want to make sure I get the motion written accurately. Could you restate the motion that you are making?
The motion would be for us to take the next few weeks before the next meeting to deliberate and then vote by next meeting whether to add a virtual meeting option to our regular meeting protocols, so that those who cannot make it physically due to disabilities or other reasons can still join the meeting. Thank you.
So I want to make sure I have this written accurately. So you're moving that we take the next few weeks to deliberate and vote at the next board meeting to have a virtual meeting option. Is that correct? Is that accurate?
Correct.
Is there a second to this motion? Seconded by Vice Chair Delgado. Is there any discussion on this motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I have a clarification question. Do we need to vote on this type of item, or you as the chair can make that, that decision.
Thank you, Commissioner Silva. So, no, I don't believe that we.
All right, I don't see Jim here. Jim, you're not backstage. Jim's trying to join us here, and I don't see him here. Did I send you the wrong link, Jim? No. Jim, I don't see you. Sorry, buddy. I don't see you here. I don't see you, bro. All right, well, just so you know, Commissioner Barker did say they want a resolution. Next meeting, resume access for everybody. And that's important because people like Jeff Oaks literally took part from his deathbed. He even announced that when he made that meeting that one day. It wasn't a CRC meeting. It was Morris County or Sussex County. And he was on his deathbed 2 weeks before he passed. He was in this meeting. He wouldn't be able to do that anymore. For 19 months, they did that stuff. For 19 months, they did it for healthy people. They gave disability access to healthy people. And all the disabled people got to go to all these meetings, all the things they were asking for all these years, they finally got. Online school, online work, online church, everything was online. So disabled people were happy. Everything was good. And then after that, after 19 months, they took it all away. And all the disabled people were locked out again. But they did it for 19 months for healthy people. Then they say, oh, we can't do it anymore. We don't know how. We have to hire somebody. We have this problem now. You didn't have these problems for 19 months. Now, all of a sudden, when disabled people are asking you for the same Zoom access you gave all the able-bodied people, they can't have it. What a bunch of crap. So I'm so glad Commissioner Barker spoke up about that issue, because I didn't even get to that issue again. I've spoke about that issue multiple times. I think I've yelled about that issue because I'm so mad about it. And nobody listens. Nobody listens. And that's what I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall sometimes with these councils and yeah, Jim, I don't see you, buddy. Boy, I hope our guest can get on. I hope Timothy Tipton can come on. He was on before on a test call. Let's see. This is the right link here. Yeah, Jim, I hope you can get on here. Oh, there's Jim Miller. There's Jim Miller.
Sup?
Sup?
An echo? Yeah, it was an echo.
Hold on. I can fix that.
Okay. Is it fixed? Nope. Yep. Yeah, that's fixed. Can you hear me?
Now. Yeah, I have to do some engineering in between the theme song and the guest. So now we're good.
Yeah, I was typing in the HTTPS:// StreamYard. I got it memorized now, but it must have been the wrong one.
It's new every week.
Yeah, it looked like it was, but sometimes when I go there, it has the right time, but it's not the right day. Part of a conversation, I don't see an old date. Yeah, definitely. If you do it on my phone, is what happens. So if it comes through the Facebook message, click and go. What'd I miss?
Well, I played the video of Trenton's, the CRC meeting in Trenton.
Oh.
And it was great to see Commissioner Barker stand up and push for that Zoom access again that we've been talking about for years.
How many commissioners are there on the CRC? 5?
5, 6?
Something like that. Hey, any one of them doing it, that's it. It's in the discussion, It just makes sense. It's like saying, well, you got to be able-bodied and able to get to wherever we are, even though we have the simplest of technologies to let you be there. You know, Zoom.
I would have taken part from my home, but I drove
Yeah.
an hour and a half because it was very important that they know that there's no wheelchair access to dispensaries because they didn't know. They think that they're all following the ADA, and they are following the ADA, which allows grandfathering in. And that's not something we should accept at the medical cannabis dispensaries or any dispensaries. I mean, we have an opportunity to fix it. And Jim, I was ignorant to this. I'm 100 dispensaries in, ignorant. It's about 100 dispensaries that have opened up, and I'm ignorant to every single one of those wheelchair accessibility issues at all of them. I just didn't think that it would be a problem because all the MSOs were fine. They all looked great. The greenhouses, not so much, but freaking MSOs were all good.
Well, they don't expect to have to entertain at the greenhouse, I would think.
Oh, I thought Big Bear was going to the microwave. I thought he was going to the microwave. All right.
Is that code for something?
Yeah, we microwave the blunts after they're rolled for like 20 seconds.
Really?
And it makes them very nice and, yeah, we smoke a lot of blunts here, which I enjoy. William is trying to get on. William is in the green room. William has nothing connected. You need to connect your microphone and your camera, William.
Oh, this is going to be awkward for me.
What?
Well, I've left him hanging for a long time now. I couldn't deal with it.
Well,
couldn't deal with my own shit even, you know.
Well, he's trying to come on, but William, if you can hear me, I can't see or hear you. So if you have a laptop, I would use your laptop. I wouldn't use your smartphone, but or if you're using a laptop, maybe try your smartphone.
He's got a PC.
A PC?
Yes. Same thing. A desktop. What do you call it?
Desktop. Yeah.
What's the proper phrase here? I'm a dinosaur. Keep me up to date. What the hell?
Just making sure it's a desktop with a separate screen. That's usually a tower. It's usually pretty good. Yeah. Usually better than a laptop.
There you go.
So he's not connected. William, you're not connected. It says here, device not connected, William. So yeah, Timothy Tipton's going to join us tonight.
Who's that?
He is an activist from out west.
That's vague.
Yeah, he's gonna be telling us about a lot of stuff that's going on out there.
Out west.
Out west.
Is that like west of the Mississippi or west?
West of us, that's for sure. I have his bio right here. You get his bio. Timothy Tipton, CVO, Chief Visionary Officer of Phoenix Tears. I've heard of Phoenix Tears, haven't you? Phoenix Tears Foundation, I've heard of. He's a court-recognized patient advocate, caregiver, and cannabis expert with the Colorado Supreme Court and 11 jurisdictions.
What?
He's a court-appointed appeal bond supervisor in Larimer County. He's a member of the National Board of Directors for the Compassionate Coalition, educational nonprofit, moderator of North Denver's Medical Marijuana Discussion Group, and Denver chapter of Compassionate Coalition, founder of Rocky Mountain Caregivers, Patients Helping Patients in a Collective Fashion, founder of Cannabis Policy Project, Cannabis Therapy Institute. This guy is amazing. I can't wait to talk to him. So yes, we have some great guests lately that Sue's been getting for us. Some really great guests. I'm really excited.
I hope it's sooner rather than later because I'm not sure I can stay all the way till anywhere near 9 o'clock tonight. But he's going to be on soon, right?
Yeah.
Soon.
I hope he's not having a problem getting on. Let's see. He was on before though, on a test.
Well, he knows about the time zones.
So he's probably jumping in around 7:30, probably.
7:34 now, so.
Oh, is it?
Hmm.
Okay.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
Okay. I will. Let's see.
You're on camera, you know.
Okay, I sent him a text. William, I'm gonna kick you out of the room, and you got to come back in. I'm gonna do the best thing I can do for you right now. Is just kick you
Check him out, yeah.
from here, and then try getting back in.
Hey,
It's a loving kick.
you have any changes?
Have any change? Yeah, change. I got. Send me a car. Oh, change. Oh, what kind of change? Oh, $2. Delivery guy.
Yeah.
What are you getting?
Ordered antipasto pie.
You ordered an antipasto pie? Wow. Antipasto pie coming up. Stoner food.
You don't need plates.
We don't have plates.
You don't need plates. I might have to go upstairs.
Yeah, we have no plates. I have to go shopping for plates and a few things.
Forks and spoons.
Fork. Laundry's ready.
Bing.
Laundry's ready, Jim. I heard it. My dryer makes the same noise. So after the meeting, Wes came up to me and he said, we'd like you to get involved with the patient meetings we're going to be having. We reached out, but we didn't get a response. So maybe they did. I don't know. I got to check my emails. But yeah, I'm looking forward to working with the CRC on these issues. These are fixable issues, and the wheelchair issue, I can't get mad at them because I can't get mad at anybody anymore because of ignorance. Because every time I drive past Avenue C now, I think of all the years I spent working on getting that light, and I didn't fight for the light for blind people because I didn't know about it. I was ignorant to the fact that these lights were for blind people, and I would have fought for it had I known. I was fighting for that just to make it safer and because people with disabilities were having a problem getting across the street. But the light for blind people was just not on my friggin' radar. I was ignorant as F. So when I see other people being ignorant, I can't get mad at them anymore because I was super ignorant when it came to that. For 4 years. You figure in 4 years, I would have did some research and said, what's the best light to get since we're getting a light? What can I have done better? It's always 2020 hindsight's always better. But really, that's how you learn because you got to look at the game. Look at the film. Look what you did wrong in the film and make it better. So now I'm going to make it better and retrofit that sucker. But shit, Jim, I didn't know. I was ignorant. I didn't friggin' know. And I drive past it every time I go to Broadway. I drive past that light, the beautiful light, brand new, beautiful friggin' light, man. I'm like, opportunity missed. Opportunity missed, man. So, I'm trying to fight ignorance with more compassion and grace, which is easy for me now because of my ignorance. Like I feel God slapped me right in the face with that one. I'm like, wow, right in my face all this whole time. I'm just ignorant to that. And I'm ignorant to these dispensaries. How did we not think these dispensaries would be opening up with wheelchair accessibility? Why do we think that? After all the shit we've seen, why would we expect anything different than what we've seen the past few years? So yeah, my ignorance has been really showing lately. Now I think I'm learning more patience now with other people. If you're willfully ignorant, that's different. But shit, man.
Did you express at the CRC meeting that they might consider making that part of the process, that grandfathered in non-accessible buildings are not to be used anymore? I'm sorry, but you got to have accessibility to get the permit to proceed.
So the CRC, if they do that, will have to have their own grandfather clause. Grandfather dispensaries that are already in without wheelchair access. Say they can't be fixed. I think there's one in Jersey City it's on a second floor, an inaccessible second floor, and I don't think there's a fix for that other than a lift. Yeah. But yeah, I never realized this would be an issue, and why wouldn't I think that? Don't know. Maybe I'm getting old in my old age.
Expecting 100% of anything is, definitely going to meet with failure sometimes. If everybody all did, and everybody doesn't all ever. Ooh, that's a nice saying. Everybody doesn't all ever. Yeah. You know what I mean, right?
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. I thought of something else before it escapes my head. It keeps ringing in my head. And it's because I got the echo wrong one time, a parallel thing. I thought, wow, maybe that's why it sounds familiar. But I just think there's never been a need before now for a T-shirt that says Schedule 3 and me, because it's 23 and me that everybody is used to. 23 and me, 23 and me. You know how many millions of people went 23 and me? Oh, I know that because of 23 and me. Yeah. Well, Schedule 3 and me. It's changing. It's going to change my life. Schedule 3. I'm on it. I don't know why that's a bigger deal, and I guess it's hard to see everything coming when something changes after 52 years of being in a schedule that it was in, and after all the delays, and it seems sudden, but it's not. They already worked on it 6 months, so could be in that last 4-month period. But after that, I want what's safest first. Everybody should. So if a doctor is going to prescribe something for somebody that cannabis works for, that's actually an indication into the program, for an example, why would they try a Schedule 2 drug first? Because it's more harmful, according to the federal DEA, And if we had to go by their shit for 52 damn years, let's go by their shit now. New Jersey weaseled out of shit, starting with Chris Christie, delaying things a month because, the federal government, we want to make sure our state employees working in dispensaries are safe and not subject to, he'd use that. It's been used all along. So it just seems you would want to do what's safest first. And if I remember correctly, in the very beginning, and it might not have lasted long, but the phraseology in the bill was that you had to try all other options first, which made no sense at all. Because if there's like 15 different options, what are you going to do? Have 15 failures before they recommend cannabis? So that probably didn't last long. But it should be the exact opposite now. It should be, why are you going to prescribe a Schedule 2 pain reliever without having allowed them to try cannabis first? Or because it works synergistically as an adjunct medicine, some of both. Start right off with, okay, how about prescribe Percocets, start something soft, 5 milligram Percocets. And if you'd like, we can recommend a little bit of cannabis too, because then you should need less of it even. That's the science. Can't be ignored now. So if New Jersey's going to slow down anything, Susan went back on opiates after, I forget how many years she was off. And it was a matter of affordability, and it's happening to people. So,
She had to do that because of her finances,
right.
which is very sad.
And they knew that. She was just asking, communicating with her legislators, her district's legislators, and they didn't seem interested. But now that's all part of a paper trail, and it's Schedule 3. Did I mention? So it's part of a paper trail, and they have to reassess what was it that they couldn't do for her. You know, they couldn't. They just. That's why I like emails rather than phone calls. It leaves a nice trail. And while legislators are not allowed to release anything that you wrote to them, you can publish theirs on a billboard. It's a one-way street as far as confidentiality goes. So let's get on it. Schedule 3 and me. Wow, I look tired. I am.
Just trying to see if our guest is available. Not getting an answer.
Well, the good thing about these being viewable later, it's not like it gets lost.
No, that's a great thing about live stuff without a net.
Yeah.
So now you got to fill time because we weren't prepared to. I
Well,
was prepared for a guest today.
well, ask me questions.
I'm unprepared. I'm totally unprepared. Well, I'm ready to ask you questions, of course.
Well, what did we do today about Schedule 3 and me? Nothing. Another day went by. It just seems like there should be some simple little thing we could do pretty much every day. And maybe I'll try to be cognizant of that myself. The littlest things, you know, reach out to somebody, but every day. The beauty of this wonderful machine in front of me right now.
Planning for May 23rd, and we're going to plan for Cannabis Patient Awareness Day.
Oh, that's got to really, you know, take some real thought. Not necessarily, not now, but like we were saying, you got to really map it out. You know, like a storyboard, the whole thing, who, what, and when, so they know well ahead of time about when they're going to specifically be directly on the podcast. And if you get really good representation from a number of states, presents a pleasant problem, you know, more participation, but it's got to be a model for next year. You know, of course, you'll learn a lot this year doing it. But last year, I remember it was a couple weeks before, and so how many people are going to be on? You know, we had that luxury, and so much can go on between now and then. I'm going to count the number of times I say Schedule 3 in any one evening, but it's a lot. That's going to change things in other states too. States that are having a harder time than us. There are actually states having a worse time than us. You know, what kind of good is this going to do them? Maybe more than us. But when it opens up banking and interstate transportation, interstate commerce, I mean, it's going to change it real quick. I'm ready. Some will be shoved sideways and some will be shoved lengthwise, but there's going to be some payment to the piper is coming due.
Well, I want my apology too.
Well, it's not just a little safer. No matter how you look up the difference between the schedules, no matter whose version you look at or how it's presented, Schedule 3 is drastically lower than Schedule 2, especially the lower end of Schedule 3, which is cannabis, and the upper end of Schedule 2, which is fentanyl.
Oh, fentanyl Schedule 2. Wow, that's right.
Yeah. Sure. Medical use.
They want to replace opiates with cannabis.
Well, at least offer cannabis with opiates when you do prescribe opiates. This should always come with the safer of the two of them. And they are not mutually exclusive. They are quite the opposite. They're synergistic. They work synergistically. They're made to work with each other. And that's just, that's science. And that's also, I find it to be very true, having had plenty of time to judge what got rid of pain, and so do you. So, yeah. Yeah, they don't know. Having somebody, I mean, whoever is against this, they and their whole family take Schedule II drugs, I'm sure, in many cases, unless they're the healthiest people on the planet. And the people who just got in the way the entire way, the DEA, and Bureau of Narcotics before that, I think it was called. Yeah, they're the ones saying Schedule III, they had to, and it was the FDA that moved them to do so, because they just couldn't go along anymore, apparently. I got to dig a little deeper on that to be sure, but I do know it was them, and I do know the DEA is still very much against cannabis, and they do not want to let go. But they have no choice now. And, we can use that very, very much to our advantage. But I think even more importantly, these straggling states that are just not able to get it through, this is going to be, they can re-argue everything, and they can go back over all the things that were said to the contrary. And I'm quite sure that I can go back to the beginning, and I was on Facebook that long, that I'm quite sure I made some very clear comments about our law and having to try other things first and fail before trying that. As that blew me away, and I know me, I commented on it. And now if I can find and date those comments 15 years ago being true today, it's not like this is a surprise or nobody knew. It was just a shell game for too long, I mean, even Bernie Madoff didn't last forever, and this is the game's up, man. The curtain's pulled back. DEA gave up, and everybody else is gonna look like shit if we have anything to say about it. Yeah.
Well, I was on opiates for 10 years, and I got off of all that crap using cannabis. And I even had a surgery without opiates. Leo Bridgewater, what's up, my man? Want to join us? Hop in here. I'll send the link.
Hop in. The water is great.
Yeah, hop in. The water's great. I think I sent. Oh, it's on Facebook. Hold on, Leo. I'll send you the link. We're just chatting about Schedule 3. I'd love to hear your thoughts about Schedule 3. There. I sent you the link on Messenger. You can hop in with us. I haven't talked to Leo in a minute. Wow. Last time I saw Leo, you're muted, Jim.
Let's jump over the fact that Schedule 3 is not as good as descheduling entirely. Okay, that covers it. Somebody was replying to me today that, they were very relieved that it jumped through and by Schedule 2, just hopscotched over it. No, that's leapfrog, whatever. And how significant that is, because if you even begin to think about the difference between the two, this is so much more preferable. And Marinol is Schedule 3, apparently. I wasn't sure of that. But that means PAAD is paying for Marinol prescriptions. And when it was paying for Cheryl's, it was over $2,000 a month. Right at 2,000, maybe 1,900. So it would be cheaper for them if that bill passes where instead of paying for Marinol, they could pay for the actual cannabis, because that would be cheaper than Marinol.
Never
When
tried Marinol.
It's heavier. I kind of liked it because I like just being, detached for a while. But most patients that I knew found it a little overbearing and a little confusing at times. And it would affect you differently at times.
Says your Schedule 3 is iffy, man. It's giving Big Farm room to do what they please with it, which is a double-edged sword. Yeah, you're right about that. There's going to be some good things
Yeah.
come out of this and questionable things.
What is it that Big Farm is going to do that would affect me if I'm home growing my own? What this opens the door to insurance paying for it as well. So for an actual patient, this shit comes first. And what Big Farm can do is, they can shove it up their ass, and it's not going to affect me as immediately or other people. It's not about me, it's just the people I know that can't afford it. This is going to start opening doors, whether it be through PAAD or the fact that if New Jersey starts paying for it and insurance companies start paying for it, and now Medicaid can't say, well, we're federally subsidized, so we sure can't pay for it. Yeah, now they sure as shit can.
They sure can, right, Leo?
Yeah. So when all these people have to start paying for it and they go, holy crap, patients are right, this shit is expensive. Yeah,
oh, wow.
Then let's talk about home grow and see how many people.
Look at Leo's shirt. He's wearing Don't shoot him.
Oh,
don't shoot, I'm a veteran. Yes.
That's an old
blast
on the past, man.
You weren't wearing that today, were you?
Yes, I was.
Oh my God.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. And if you look at my old all my old New York City cannabis parade pictures, I'm in this shirt. So yes.
What's
yes.
up, Rich?
That's amazing. What you been
How
up
you
to,
doing,
man?
brother?
Good.
Same shit, different toilet. You know what I mean? I heard your statements yesterday at the CRC meeting.
Hey, I got a lot of talk after that meeting. It was great.
Yeah, I was like, I was laughing. I said, of course, Lefty ain't gonna let Jeff leave without giving him something. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be that quiet.
I put him on the spot a little bit. He had the opportunity to do something there if you wanted to, but whatever. Charles Barker did, though. Charles Barker sure did. I'm not Commissioner Barker.
Yeah. Well, I think I have my thoughts on all that stuff, but first and foremost, I'll say this before I tell you anything about what I think. I always got to make sure I remind everybody before you ask me what I think, you do realize you asking the black dude in this movie what he think.
I didn't know that. You're black.
Yeah.
All these years.
Yeah. Jim, what happens
to
the black people? What happens to black people in the movies, especially the scary movies? What always happens to us in these scary movies? Come on now. What always happens?
Yeah.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, we never make it.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Right. So hence why I preference everything with you do realize you're asking the black dude in this movie what he thinks.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? So let's make sure we, get that together. You know what I'm saying? As far as when it comes to scheduling or rescheduling,
It could have been better. Yes.
well, Jim, don't forget, I'm one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit against the Department of Justice and Barr versus Washington. I was one of the plaintiffs. Me, Jose Balin, Marvin Washington, a few others, and we were suing over the constitutionality of cannabis being a Schedule I drug. And what we were going for was to have it completely descheduled.
Yeah. No, that would be best.
Yes, that especially for the black guys in this movie.
But to make Schedule 3 wait one day longer in going for that, I think would be a mistake, because the federal government has proved to be very, very good at delaying whenever they get an opening to delay. I mean, if it's like New Jersey. Oh, wait a second, canopy, that would be better than a number. Let's study that for a couple of years. Oh, no. No, let's not study it for a couple of years. The DEA got how far down the road they did kicking the can because there was never a time limit on what they were forced to do. They were forced to do it, but never by specific dates, and they would push it as long as humanly possible. Then you'd have to go to court to get the court to tell them to do, take the next step. But it was never approached changing the schedule ever. And, the idea that they ran out of room, the FDA really did break paths with them, because starting 10 years ago, when I was, or 12 years ago, the reason I started going to Washington and delivering letters from veterans in particular was because the FDA did approve of a test that was going to use returning combat veterans already diagnosed with PTSD, and then do the study that they said, yeah, we're good with that. And the DEA still did not allow the study material to be released for this FDA approved study. This is like 12 years ago.
Yep.
Saying that it would jeopardize the supply of more legitimate study, while at the same time limiting the supply by not letting anybody but Oxford, Mississippi, University of Mississippi, grow it. So that shell game apparently is over, and they still got Schedule 3. You know what I mean? They still got that.
First of all, I always say this, because I've been down to DC a few times, advocating for this and doing lobby days and sitting down with senators and congressmen and congresswomen and members of Congress, and I even went and spoke with the Legislative Black Caucus down in DC and whatnot.
Yeah, I remember that. That was awesome.
And I'm gonna tell you, here's what I learned. The common denominator for all of them, for me, the common denominator was, I realized, and I said this, I've been saying this for years. One, we're asking a bunch of Flintstones to write rules to a Jetsons game, and this is going over their head. The other thing that I realized, because especially when you listen to Joe Biden, and I said this when he was running for his first term, whenever somebody brought up cannabis, whenever that came up, what I did not like about him was every time you said cannabis, the first word that flew out his mouth was rehab. And I had a situation one time, and I don't know if I was with you and Lefty or somebody, but I got into it with Ron Rice. I think I was with Ronnie Soto, but I got into it with Ron Rice. And at a certain point in our conversation, and we were talking, I saw this little part right here of his nostril go up ever so slightly quick.
Really?
It just went up, yeah. And I caught it. And I realized, I said, oh shit. Oh, you think you're talking to an addict. That's what this is. You know what I'm saying? I'm all I am is just an addict to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm the same kind of addict as a heroin, as a crack addict. You know what I'm saying? Like I realized in that very moment, holy shit, he thinks we're all addicts. Now,
Why wouldn't he think that? It was a Schedule 1 drug.
Right. But I realized right then, like but in his mind, where I was, what kind of addict, I was the same, because they all think that we're all chasing the same high. You know what I'm saying? Crack addicts, heroin addicts. You know what I'm saying?
You see,
in their mind, they have a thing in their head of how they see this, what they think of it as. And I remember I blew my top. I went off. And I said to him, I said, you know what? I just figured it out. You know what I'm saying? Well, you already know what I do, but I know nothing about you. So how about this? And I challenged him right there on the spot. I said, tomorrow morning, you want to see how deep this goes? You want to know how deep this really goes? Okay, let's see how deep this really goes. Tomorrow morning, everybody in the State House needs to come take a piss test. Everybody that works in the State House, I want them to take a piss test. I want to know who worked for me. I want to know what's going on.
Or a day off. Yeah.
Yup. Just yup. Go take a piss test. Let's see.
Yeah.
Take a personal day if you have to. We don't want to cause trouble.
Let's see who has their shit together.
But if 40% take a personal day, you've made your point.
Yeah. I like to swing the big stick early. You know what I'm saying? So I challenged him. Why don't you have, hey, listen, and mind you, he's a veteran too. So it's not like he didn't know. I'm like, hey, come on, man. They wake us up right before PT, before we go to PT in the morning, and they make us go pee in a cup. So it's not like you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So how about we go see, let's see how many people actually work, like what they really doing. And while we're at it, how about we just go into, hold on for a hot second, y'all.
You changed his mind, Leo, because he used to think it would kill you. He made statements that cannabis will kill you directly. Remember that? Babies
let's blame Schedule 1 for that, because it's not that anymore, and that works to our advantage now. In other words, that back door is gone now.
Wait a minute though. But here's what I learned about, in particular, about my state, and I'm sure you can say this about other states as well. But I don't like to. I'm sorry. I got to. Oh damn. Okay. Now here's what I've learned.
Hate that.
And this was also a common denominator that I figured out going through all these lobby days and stuff like that on the Hill and talking with folks. The problem is that with cannabis remaining illegal, a lot of reputations and careers were made off of this being illegal. A lot of money was being made with it being illegal.
Very Pat Angelini.
Hurtful.
Yeah. Once we started looking at the money, and I remember this early on in our days with me, you, and Lefty Joe out there, we were like $145 million a year in New Jersey, and then we are the largest. We had the largest racial disparity of incarcerated citizens. Remember when that ACLU report came out and they 25,000 arrests?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Remember that? And then what people didn't realize was there was also, Lefty, there was a report that came out that talked about the use of force amongst police officers in the state of New Jersey.
I got that list.
And and black and brown people make up 80% of that too. So the intentional targeting and tormenting people and communities of color in the state of New Jersey was a thing.
Systematic.
You know what I'm saying?
It still is.
Systemic.
Yeah. Yup. And then you also have, because what else is a thing in New Jersey is cops kill themselves here a lot.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
In their
That's
car.
also a thing. Yeah, because we have a steroid, we have a roid rage issue going on here.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, realize something here, okay? Jim, you know, Lefty, y'all been here 1,001 times. You know, Trenton, New Jersey, where I live at, is only 7 square miles. Okay,
Yeah.
7.2 square miles. Did you guys know that within that 7.2 square mile radius, there are over 330 churches?
No, I did not.
Did you? Here's another thing too.
You should have asked me to guess how many first. That would have been a
Yeah.
surprise.
Guess how? All right, here's something.
40.
Guess how many 501c3s are in this 7.2 square mile radius?
Less than churches. More than churches.
No.
I have no idea.
700, over 700.
Whoa.
501c3s, yes.
Wow.
So, based on the radius and the number of churches, when you look at that radius and the number of churches, Trenton should be the holiest city in the state.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing.
And when you look at the 501c3s, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of them have been in existence for over 10 years. Okay. So what that tells you is that poverty pimping is a very real thing in this state. If you come to Trenton and you come off the highways, you will see people don't like to be arrested for cannabis in Georgia. It's in some places, and Jim, you know, you can bat me on this. In some places, it's like 14% more likely, 14 times more likely, or 17 times more likely. So it's that's just an average. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But if you talk when you come into Trenton and you come off the highways, you know how you see the people panhandling and everything like that.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. I actually talk to them people sometimes, right? Because I just be wanting to know, you know what I'm saying? And
I give them edibles.
Yeah, well, check it out though. They're not from Trenton. They're not native Trentonians at all. You know where they come from? They come from places like Mendham. You know what I'm saying? They come from places like Morristown. You know what I'm saying? Morristown. You know, Cherry Hill. A lot of them come from some pretty affluent places. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why they come to Trenton is because the state makes it so that there are certain social services that are only located in Trenton. On top of the people, you have that population of folks who are coming out of returning from being in jail and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
They make it to where they have to come to places like Trenton, Camden, Newark, and Atlantic City. And so you have this unofficial designated ghetto type of thing going on in New Jersey too. See, I think people don't realize that New Jersey is a very, 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 very red state that just votes blue. Okay? And when you look at remember the January 26th riots down in DC and everything like that? Majority of those people came from Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey. And most people don't realize that New Jersey has the largest we have the largest population of hate organizations here. They are based out of New Jersey. So there's a very real this whole systemic thing here. When you look back on it, now understand something. You can't get this way without help. And so, like Lefty, you know where those Jim, you know where those two big towers are, apartments and everything like that. You know, Kingsbury.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That place is a war zone. Okay. And a couple of years ago, a little 8-year-old little girl took a bullet to the chest playing with her friends because some dude got mad over a Facebook post and went to shooting, and she caught one to the chest just playing with her friends, right? Some years before that, some 16-year-old girl sold her sister to a bunch of dudes, and they ran a train on her little sister who was like 10. Okay, they do that here. And we have now a human trafficking issue that's large here. And so when you think about the number of 501c3s here who have been, and a number of them have been here for years, you know what I'm saying? If everybody in the city of Trenton were to just level up one, Lefty, if everybody just leveled up one, do you know how many jobs would be lost? Do you know how many do you know how much grant money would go away? Because there wouldn't be no need for a lot of these grants for gang violence, you know what I'm saying? Drug intervention issues, you know, all those things. So again, poverty, particularly in the city of Trenton, is big business. And the reason why I brought up Kingsbury is because it turns out a number of the local churches sit on the board of that housing spot, Kingsbury. So this thing is, when we take a look at it, you know what I'm saying, we literally have to take a macro and a micro economics look at it all to fully understand what exactly it is that we're dealing with. And once you do that, it helps to explain why it's taken so long. It is not in the best interest of a lot of people that things get better. It is not in the best interest for a lot of people that cannabis gets descheduled.
That's been that way, yeah, always.
Yeah, and the reason why is because it's the economics behind it. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Keeping us in prison. You know what I'm saying? That whole prison population, it helps to further a thought process behind Black and brown people and how we use this plant, even though we use this at the same rate as white folks. You know what I'm saying? The fact of the matter is that this right here, from an economic standpoint, it just makes sense. And you got a lot of people who have benefited mightily from its remaining a Schedule I drug. So that's why they give you the runaround like they do.
Well, how many people faced a court, something in court where it was like, I'm going to have to sentence you to 30 days, or you can do 30 days rehab. I'll take rehab, which is big money, because who kept showing up to everything to do with medical cannabis, rehab entities, and Mary Pat Angelini types always showed up for that because they needed their slice of the pie. Before, when you were saying how, and I kept saying Schedule I drug, that's why Ron Rice has the right to say that. He shouldn't be believing that because that's ridiculous. But he does get to say that then because it's Schedule I. As bad as it is, it's not out of nowhere. But back in the day, 50 years ago, we had hard and soft drugs. Soft drugs were hash, cannabis, mushrooms, things of that nature. Anything pretty much that was a pill on through the way harder, heroin, cocaine, would be hard drugs. And, Steppenwolf had that very popular song, The Pusher Man, and the lyrics were like, the pusher's a monster who don't care if you live or die, but for a nickel, a dealer going to sell you a lot of sweet dreams. It's the other way around. For a nickel, they're going to sell you sweet dreams, but the pusher is a monster who don't care if you live or die. So you had drug pushers and drug dealers. And, that is what kept people from going further. Now, with eventually DARE, but even way back then, when I was in high school, as part of our health class, it was like the health coach, football coach, actually. You say, here's a circle, and the bad drugs, the hard drugs are like right in there. And if you don't use any drugs, including marijuana, if you don't get inside that circle, you can't get to the hard stuff. Like nobody starts with the hard stuff, I guess. And that makes sense, bicycle before motorcycle. But I keep thinking from then on that that's what got people in trouble, is they'd smoke some pot and they listen to what the health instructor said. And now, oh man, I had some beer. I smoked some pot last night. Hey, want some cocaine? I might as well. I mean, I'm gonna. Eventually, I might.
That's where the gateway theory came. That's how the gateway theory came about.
But it's the gateway theory didn't entertain hard and soft drugs. They wouldn't, like you were saying. It's like all drugs aren't the same. So anyway, it's just that, again, I'm going to say it, Schedule 3, it's all over for that discussion. I mean, it's sort of like it's when the worst organization, if you want to call it a DEA organization, whatever they better be called, that doesn't sound good. They were the worst. They were driving so much of what went on for the last half century that led to all the racial disparities. And Rob Robinson used to spit that off like a huckster. I mean, he could just rip it off. And I always liked Rob Robinson from New York. He was my model when I had to do public speaking before my peers, and that always stuck with me. It was just so simple to see, and it's sort of like, now it's not 6-1, it's only 5.5-1. Now we're talking. I mean, but all that is going to soften up now, because I'm going to agree with the DEA, and I'm going to say, yeah, man, I haven't said that maybe ever. Maybe give me a little chill. I agree with them. It's not as dangerous. But I'm going to go back and find what I said 15 years ago on Facebook when we first got our law, and it was, you got to try everything else first. That didn't work out, but
I think that. But I'll say this: the problem that I have with that is that with Schedule 3, again, this is me, thinking about when Joe Biden, I always kept saying, he's like old people. They want to take pills. So I could see him giving
He's like old people. He is old people.
Yeah, they want to take their pills, and I felt like I remember when he was running, I kept saying I don't like what his stance is. I think that he's going to try to give this to the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, he was also he's a gateway theory guy.
Yes, he was, but.
Not that long ago. 10 years ago.
I know. And then on top of that, if you think about, what I'm saying, like remember when I said about how it's big business and $145 million and and a lot of careers and everything were built on this being illegal and everything like that. Yeah. Joe Biden was one of the authors of the crime bill that made it so. This is how it, like the whole 3 strikes you're out thing, Bill Clinton and his wife, Hillary and Joe Biden in the Senate pushing this shit. And what it ended up doing is it ended up ripping the African-American community a brand new asshole. It tore us apart, much in the same way that crack did when that happened in the late 80s. You know what I'm saying? With that whole epidemic and them unleashing that on our neighborhoods. So again, and that's why I keep saying, Jim, remember, you're asking the black dude what he thinks. You know what I'm saying?
I get to laugh at that, by the way.
Yeah, because this shit plays out different. This shit plays out different on me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I'm always like, what the fuck do you think I'm thinking? Shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to figure out, because it's looking like white folks done lost their damn minds. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, I think I'm not really that much of a believer when it comes to the timing of this all. I believe that this was done as campaign fodder. I think I think that they're trying to get some votes or whatnot.
Well, look, the warm up was
on people not knowing the difference.
Chris Goldstein going to Washington. That was part of it. And it's like got the right time frame. So it's sort of like, wow, if playing politics actually did some good, it's like -2 times -2 is +4.
Right.
Not -4. This is one of these things, I think, and I don't disagree with anything he said there.
And Jim, I believe in, I learned this from you and Lefty and Ken Wolski, and I always, I always got to make sure I got to take a minute to give you guys your flowers, because I haven't said it enough, and I will continue to say it, that Jim Miller, Lefty Grimes, and Ken Wolski are the source code for Leo Bridgewater. If you guys did not pull me to the side and teach me how to use my voice, teach me how to use my status as a veteran, you know what I'm saying, and exactly where to go, I would not be where I am today. And I will continue to sing your praises to the high heavens for my entire life. I love you three for that, and the thing that I could do is just take what you guys have given me and just run with it, because I've seen how things have moved. I believe, I remember when we first met, and I remember talking about the business side of it all and everything like that. And to be honest with you, I'm at a stage now where, for me, at this stage in my life, I'm always like, what's the plan now? I need to know what the plan is. You know what I'm saying? And, and I'll give an example. I've had a lot of people talk to me about Gaza and Israel, right? Palestine and Israel. What's happening there? And I always say to people, okay, pretend that you are preaching to the choir at this point. Pretend that I agree with everything that you're saying. What's the plan? What's the plan? Is the plan for all of us to get on a plane, fly into Tel Aviv, cross over the border in the Palestine, take up arms and fight against the enemy? Is that the plan? If it is, tell me the plan so I can. I want to be able to make a informed decision.
You sound a lot like me right now, and Lefty will back me up on this. My definition of activists and advocates, they identify problems, which is the easy part, and they try to find solutions. But if a person, all they do is bitch about something and they don't offer a solution,
there you go.
All they are is, what are they? By definition, there's nothing but bitches, because that's all they're doing. But if you're finding solutions and you're active, you're an activist or an advocate. So basically, it's like, it's so easy pointing out what's wrong. Pain hurts, I mean, it's like that sort of reaction. And that's why I like to start my Schedule 3 conversations with, descheduling would have been way better. You can't compare the two, descheduled or Schedule 3. Between the two, that is the loser. However, get that out of the way and say that if this is going to open up interstate commerce laws changing, banking rules changing, all
Yeah,
sorts of
yeah.
things now because it's not in
Yeah.
Schedule 1 and it jumped over Schedule 2, which allows all that to happen. We're going to see it going on in the next year. Things I didn't think of that. Well, I didn't think of that. And there's things I know I'm not thinking of, and they're going to be all beneficial, but then they're going to need tweaking because they're never going to be done in the best way.
Jim, listen to me, right? At this point, okay, and this is hard fact truth, all right? New Jersey is, from a revenue perspective when it comes to cannabis. Did you guys know that New Jersey is a top 10 state in revenue for cannabis?
Into the treasury, you mean, like state revenue?
Yes, just the
Yeah,
revenue.
no,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at that.
We
That is the intent. Racial, social equity and stuff. Come on, that's nothing but trying to grease the skids to get to where it is now. And Paco is putting up some stuff that is backing that up pretty earlier.
Yeah, my point in that is to say, we are when you look at it from an adult use perspective, right? We are we're only 2 years old. Okay.
Yeah,
and when we opened up for adult use, we started out with just 12 retail locations in the state. Now,
and they were dispensaries otherwise there would have been none.
Right. Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the wild thing. Since Executive Order number 6 was signed,
I had
right?
a wild thing in my head.
Yeah. Since Executive Order number 6, since the expansion of the medical marijuana program, and also let me also just preference this because I've often had to say this to people who don't know. Recognize that we are in year 7 of the recovery of 8 years of Chris Christie. Okay, this is just year 7, and I think that a lot of times, especially, and so with that being said, since the signing of Executive Order number 6, New Jersey has done 2 billion 1 million in revenue. Okay, 800 of that was done in just 2023 alone. Okay, out of that 2 billion. All right, and remember, we started off with just 12 dispensaries. Okay, 12 retail locations since UA. Now, when you at this point, when you look at the kind of revenue, the way things are happening, there's the social justice aspect of everything. But if we are not saying anything about the business side at this time in time, now we're being irresponsible. We are not giving the full picture. You know what I'm saying? Do I believe that people should be left out, should be taken out of jail and not incarcerated? Absolutely. Do I think that we should be addressing the racial disparity of incarcerated citizens? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? But we're doing damn near $1 billion a year. We'll hit $1 billion this year. And y'all ain't saying nothing? Oh, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. You built this motherfucker on my back in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Ain't no way in hell I'm not going to say anything. And so now we have to evolve into, we have to make a bigger argument. Now, what I learned from you guys is, one of the biggest things that I learned from you guys is we have to pay these politicians in the currency that they really accept. And that currency is votes. Okay? And we have to start to realize our voting power, especially when you look at things like when Joe Biden decides that he wants the DEA wants to do a Schedule 3. That was from somebody from the administration doing that, because
Oh, yeah.
we got to they want to get votes, and they want to take it away from the Republicans, because I kept saying, you know, if Democrats aren't careful, Republicans are going to steal this shit from them and start putting out the idea that
They
we
could've-
need to legalize. Yeah, you know,
They could do that. They could do that in New Jersey too, when the
Yeah,
Democrats,
exactly.
you know, when it's a Democrat Senate president. But
Yep.
I couldn't get co-sponsors of the home grow bill for patients who were Republicans. I couldn't get them to complain to the Senate president. That's their job, to be a check and balance on the majority party. You know, so obviously I don't know the whole game.
And that was more so, I think, for me, I believe that was more so a ploy on the MSOs. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Who didn't want that.
I
You know,
want to add one thing what you're saying about votes is, that's right. I'm making notes. I forget shit otherwise.
ahead, bro.
Votes right along those lines is, yeah, I only have one vote, but maybe I can lose you 50. Now I count more than just my vote. So
Mhm.
when there's an issue that you can make somebody look bad on to a group of people, you know, and I think Senator Scutari, he's ripe to be made to look that way. If he doesn't change, I mean, this week, he's on the wrong side of things now. Schedule 3. That screwed him up. You know,
Yeah.
the game changed with that. So just making him look bad is something that he's going to have to be thinking about. And what is it he needs to do? Because he needs to react in a way he's not used to reacting. He has to let go of the rope, just like the DEA did. The DEA had a hold of that rope like Scutari doesn't even know how to hold the rope, and they let go.
Well,
So he has to learn to do that, or I'm going to have more fun than I've ever had in my life, and I think Lefty's going to join me in doing it.
well,
We're going to have some real fun.
You want to hear something interesting? So, I had a reporter contact me because they wanted to get my reaction to Senator Gopal's reaction to what I said. You know what I'm saying? And he said, and I don't know who this Leo Bridgewater person is, but I take extreme exception. I take exception to what he said with extreme umbrage.
Umbrage.
Yeah, and I said, "Oh, yeah."
Woody.
I said, "Oh, he brought out he pulled out the Yale thesaurus. He was big mad. I mean, goddamn, you know what I'm saying?" And what I had said was,
Yeah, what did you say? You know, to be fair.
I said that I said my problem with what Senator Gopal was doing was he was talking about he said he has his constituents. He's on the phone with his constituents, and they are upset with the way the CRC is doing things, and he felt as though the CRC should be a body that is directly out of the state, that comes out of the state house. That he wanted the legislature to be the governing authority over the CRC.
Oh.
And I was like, oh no.
In New Jersey.
Yeah. And I was like, I was like, oh, and I said, no, I said, my problem with that is, I said, well, first of all, you know, Senator Gopal is new to this argument, you know what I'm saying? But I'll say this. I said, I believe Senator Gopal when he says that he is on the phone with his constituents. I believe that his constituents are saying the things that he says that they're saying. My problem is that he lets his constituents get off the phone without explaining to them what part the legislative body of our state government played in their angst and why they're upset. He doesn't tell them the whole thing.
Yeah.
He lets
they can't handle the truth.
Yeah, he let them hoop and holler, and he let them, you know, because here's one of the things that I'm realizing, and I learned this and I hear this every time there's a CRC meeting. And
I'm going to add a counterbalance when you're done, though.
Yeah, it proves itself at every single CRC meeting. And that is, there are a lot of people out there who do not understand the difference between legislation and regulation. And every time someone sits down at a CRC meeting when they have public comment and they start going on these rants about home grow, I'm always like, dude, great point, valid points. You're just talking to the wrong body.
Yeah.
I really wish when people like me, Jim Miller, Lefty Grimes, Ken Wolski, all those times we were in the Senate chambers, you know what I'm saying? All that hooping and hollering, where were you? Where were y'all? You know, before I just told some people the other day, I was like, do you guys even know who the regulatory authority was before there was a CRC? It was called a Medical Marijuana Review Board.
Yep.
And they used to have their meetings in the back room in the basement of the War Memorial. I know.
We could
Jim
attend.
Miller and Lefty Grimes had me up there talking shit to them too. You know what I'm saying? And so there's all this history that people are not aware of. And I always make the comparison to the television show Game of Thrones. And I always say there's Game of Thrones history, and then there's House of the Dragons history. And the House of the Dragons history is hundreds of years before Game of Thrones. And if people would actually take the time to learn their House of the Dragons history, it will help explain a lot of people. In particular, Ken Wolski, Jim Miller, and Lefty
Shit.
Grimes.
You telling me I got to watch
You learn that old ass history.
I've never seen any of that. I got to
You
watch
might
the whole
look at
thing.
them differently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because right now, y'all think that they some crazy ass hippies that just be talking shit and don't even know what the hell they're talking about. No.
More.
You got to go back and take a look at what this man. When I point at you, I was go, this man was pushing his wife around in a fucking hospital bed, trying to bring awareness to this shit.
The reclining wheelchair that did look like
Right.
a hospital bed when it was down, though. Feet
Right.
went up, back went down.
Yeah, and then I point at Lefty and I'll be like, there was a time when Lefty was not in that fucking wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? I remember when Lefty used to just get out of his chair and bend down, you know what I'm saying? Or sit on the side because he had to stretch his back a bit.
Lay on
You know
the
what I'm saying?
concrete. Yeah.
Yeah, on the concrete. Yes, right? You know what I'm saying?
I got a good picture of him reaching up from laying down on the concrete, adjusting some of the dials while we had a podcast.
Look,
that's
I have
all, man, you know?
Look, I have a picture, right? I have a picture of me shaking hands with Cory Booker, and Charles Barker is right behind me on my shoulder, right?
Oh.
And in front of me and Cory Booker, not even 10 feet, Lefty's in the middle of the street getting locked up.
Oh yeah,
in Linden. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I was there. Yeah, I was there.
And I had the picture of Jim is standing in the back, and he says, "I smoke marijuana, and I'm a good person."
Yeah, that's my sign. Yeah,
and I say to people,
I'm a very good person.
yeah, and I say to people, if you actually take a look at that picture, look at the people that's in that picture.
Yeah.
Look at who's in that picture. You got Rosanna Scotty, you got Diana Wainu, you got Jim Miller, you got myself, Nick Scutari, you know what I'm saying? You got
I knew he was good. Yeah.
You got a whole rack of people. Hector Corchado.
Yeah, that was a good day.
And it was like, I'm like, you know, so I have to tell people, like, I appreciate this energy, especially when I'm looking at the CRC meetings and whatnot. But people. You guys need a civics lesson. You know what I'm saying? You got to know what they can and cannot do. You know what I'm saying? And home grow is not their thing. They can't do anything.
No,
They'll
they
just
can't.
sit there and listen to you and shake their heads, but that's about as far as it can go. They can't do anything.
Well,
Where
they,
we
yeah,
need
they,
to at-
they could say it doesn't affect what we're doing. In
Oh,
other
and
words, they don't have to. They don't have to do anything. It's just that they know already quite easily that the state doesn't get part of the medical pie anymore with no sales tax and all sorts of reasons.
Right.
So, like, you know, that's something that certainly can happen without jeopardizing any of the financial end. And whenever that happens, usually, you know, success isn't that far behind.
Yep.
And before I forget, the counterbalance I wanted to offer for Vin Gopal was that he's the one that is the point man for legalizing home grow for adults. That's you know, Senator Singleton's the patient home grow guy. They both co-sponsor each other's bill, you know. But Vin is the one that's in pretty much the point man for the home grow that was left out. So I'm not saying
I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't.
I give him special dispensation to a small degree, but you know what you're saying and said is true and needs to be said. You know, I'm just offering to counterbalance that. Unlike Nick Scutari, who says things like, if it weren't for me, you wouldn't even have medical. Lefty, did he not say that? Is that what he said?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, so, you know, see, it's sort of like, I forgot my point about that. But anyway,
Kiss the ring.
Yeah.
No, we were doing a counterbalance with Vin Gopal and the fact that he's like the lead on home grow.
And the fact that the reason he even got involved was because I was communicating with his constituent Jeff King, and I convinced Jeff that he had emailed him twice looking for an appointment and gotten no reply. So I told him, why don't you put those on letpatientsgrownj.com? We'll put those up there. So now everybody can see what he didn't answer. And not only did he do that, but he started dealing with him on Facebook on his page. And Vin Gopal typed to him, instead of trolling me here on Facebook, why don't you hit me up legit at my office? To which he replied, I saw it. Jim Miller said you might say something like that. That's why I put the 2 emails you didn't answer up on letpatientsgrownj.com. Then got back to him in 10 minutes. Like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, and he did this, like, you know,
180
whirlwind of a, you know, and what I like how that worked out is it shows what one guy did. Jeff King did the most simple of things, taking part. He could have been smoking a joint while he was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And he like really accidentally pushed something. So, but the connectivity to all the things that slip through while you have your eye on one thing, it's always for me going to be, I think it was different with Waxy Brown, right? Lefty, that's his name, last name, Brown?
Yeah, he was great.
Okay. Yeah, he was great. He's from Missouri. What happened in Missouri is they had to have a plan first before it went to the ballot. You know, they voted on it. And it passed 52-48, way closer than what we experienced, 2-1 margin. So, but when he detailed what they went through first, the social equity, he said you lead with veterans, and it was veterans, I forget how, you know, but it was like 4 things where all the profits should go, you know, like if we do this, this is where money will be spent. So it was already there. Like you say, legislating and regulating are different. And as we found out at the battle log, referendums and regulations are different. We legislated, and then came Chris Christie, and he regulated for 8 freaking years. That is accurate as could be.
Yeah.
So,
which is why, like, when you think, and I always say, this is how you could tell people who. This is where you could tell the difference between this new generation of advocate and activists versus those of us who were here years ago. And that's because we remember those Christie years all too well. And I always say this, like, to be honest with you, I remember telling some people this. I was like, look, because I was telling some young people, okay, I was telling them, if you count the Christie years, you would actually feel like things are moving a little too goddamn fast. You know what I'm saying? Because people kept saying it's going too slow, and I'm like,
that's going on. And you ain't seen nothing yet. It's
like,
accelerating real now.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, because where we were coming from, you know what I'm saying? And I always tell people, like, I don't think y'all realize, like, if you count those years and you look at where we are today, you know what I'm saying?
We're there.
Yeah,
we're
it's
like right there,
Yeah, it's like, damn. You know what
I mean,
saying?
even if we're on the outside looking in still, we're right outside looking right in.
Right
I'm not
in,
talking up from miles away. We're there. It's just, how does it process itself from here on out? But right now, there are a lot of people that are doing the little things maybe they didn't do before, and they're ready to have an effect.
I remember. Wait,
I'm
Jim.
hopeful.
I had to tell somebody. I was like, "Yo," I told Chris Christie that the first words he's supposed to say is, "Thank you for your service," because I did something for your wife and kids you wouldn't do. And I said, Jim Miller was standing right there. He said,
Yeah.
"You just bitch slapped the governor of New Jersey."
Yeah. And that was after Lefty said, "Don't be a pussy." The first time he will call you the first time. It's sort of like, I don't think he walked that close to a podcast after that. Right?
Well, because
we got to give him his credit. He did not go. He didn't go in the back door.
Absolutely, absolutely.
He could have been dropped off to the left side, going right in by where the state police office was, right there. He could have gone in that any time, and he never did.
Never did. Yeah, and the wild part was, because I was explaining to people, I was like,
cones.
Yeah, because I was telling folks, I was like, you guys don't understand, you know what I'm saying, how the things we used to have to do. I was like, thank God I lived where I lived at, because I knew when he was coming in, because he would fly over my house. Yeah. And I would call if I wasn't.
How long does it come from?
Huh?
One time, way early on, I remember one specific time after a podcast, we went back to your garage and smoked copious amounts. Mm-hmm. And I might have never laughed so hard as we did that day. And it was still the shittiest of times, but there was other things going on. But from then, see, now I can have up to 6 ounces on the dashboard of my car, riding down the interstate.
Lefty, listen.
Come on, this is not tough times now, guys.
Jim, it messes with me. It messes with me. I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying?
Think about it. It's sort of like,
wow, look at how far we've come. Like, Jesus, Now, I always tell this story because, Jim, you wasn't there, but Lefty was in the building. He was there the day I took my first dab.
That's always epic.
Man.
Yeah, we gave Leo his first dab, and it was amazing.
Man, I was so fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I was so fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And it was at the Weed Man's joint.
Yeah,
they got me there too. I think it was Barini. Wayne Barini might have been. I don't know if it was UFD, but and honestly, yeah, man, it was a lung burner. I coughed for about a minute, and then it must have been the look on my face when you want another, because there's a lot of laughter. I must have had a and then there's Roger Barber.
Take your shirt off.
I was so messed up. I was so messed up.
In a good way, though,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was
Yeah.
a 10-minute walk home, because that's all it takes is 10 minutes to get
Yeah.
from Weedman shop to my house.
Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah. The problem was it took me like an hour and a half to get home. I was so fucked up. I couldn't get my shit together. I was walking around downtown Trenton, and I was like, I know where I got. I was like, I couldn't get it together. Lefty and them. I don't think I've ever actually truly forgiven Lefty.
Yeah, see, it's not about forgiving Lefty. It's about tradition. It's about you doing that to somebody yourself.
But
You pass it on.
Now here's the thing. Though
You got to get somebody.
I was about to say thank you, Jim, because my cousin calls my garage Weed Wonderland, because I have the student glass. I got the Puffco. You know what I'm saying? Lefty, I dare you to do that shit now. I dare you to. I dare you.
I just did a hot dab.
See, you know what I'm saying? And I got my Gandalf the Grey pipe going on.
How does that work? How does that one work?
So it's
what
really,
do you put on top there?
Yeah, so it's really just this right here, and then it's bam, see.
Oh, so you put the dabs right in there.
Yep, and the smoke comes out right here when you pull on it.
Really?
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's I love it, man. I love it better than the Peak Pro, the Puffco Peak Pro.
That's what I
But
have.
I have a student glass too. I have student glass. I got this. I got the Peak Pro. I got all kinds of glassware. I'm on it now. Like I feel like I have. Like I'm okay with. I'm okay. The next time, and I have done to other people what Lefty did to me at Weedman's joint. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm very proud of that. You know what I'm saying? Did he take? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But he paid for that too. Somebody made such a stink out of it. He paid for that jet fuel that he used to take the helicopter to his kid's baseball game.
Yeah, that was a question.
Yeah.
Chris Christie used to call me, and you'd be like, he's over he's over my house.
He's landing. Yep. Yeah, I used to text. Yeah.
And then we know because the state trooper would come to the door.
Yeah.
He would stand by the door with his little earpiece, and we're like, "Oh, we have 1 minute. We have 1 minute. Here he comes."
And especially the guy in a brown suit, but it would be about a minute.
Yep.
And then he'd walk out and he'd kind of get ready and looking right at you.
Yeah, because the helicopter would fly right over my house. I live in Mill Hill.
Yeah, I remember that. Actually, one time Leo just called. Governor just flew over.
Yep, he's landing. He's coming in, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
So he actually took a helicopter, his kid, to a ball game.
He took the
He thought he could get away with that.
Yeah, well, he took it to because he actually, and you know what? He lived in Mendham. He lives in Mendham.
Yeah.
So he took the helicopter
that's not
to his kid's baseball game. You know what I'm saying? And then I guess took it home or whatever. And that's. But I remember they made such a stink about that he actually paid for the jet fuel. You know what I'm saying? So that the taxpayers didn't have to pay for him going to see his kids, play baseball. Like, come on, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
what did he land?
See, now, if you ever have the power to bring that to somebody like that as a negotiating thing, like, if I make a stink, you're going to end up paying for jet fuel. That's the same as giving somebody money if you can take an amount away, because we can't afford it. We don't have that entry fee that gets into, the kind of donations they want. So when we get good at being able to cost them something, now that one just, it's kind of an example that we didn't have anything to do with it. But, I like, I don't know, I just think we can bring damages to people. And if they know it, maybe our negotiating power is going up now. We're going to test that out with Senate President Scutari. We're going to have a negotiation in about 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
Good. Now, one thing I don't want to, I don't want to not say, you know what I'm saying? Again, we gave Governor Christie his flowers, you know what I'm saying? I also believe in, when you look at from a, nationwide, DEI is under attack, you know what I'm saying? Diversity, equity, and inclusion, you know what I'm saying? And that's nationwide, you see what's happening in Texas, you know what I'm saying? They don't even want CRT being taught to kids, you know what I'm saying? And so when I look at what's happening from a industry perspective, particularly as it relates to New Jersey, see, historically, before there was a social equity component to the equation, normally hundreds of, if not thousands of licenses will have already been issued. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the case here in New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? And so because of that, especially since it was part of the equation in the beginning, it's more of a floor than it is a ceiling for us. You know what I'm saying? And we are now at we're getting ready to break 150, I think, in terms of retail locations. You know what I'm saying? And when you think about those retailers who are minority owned, diversely owned, women owned, veteran owned, you know what I'm saying, black owned, you know what I'm saying, we're actually leading the country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd like to see those actual statistics. I'm assuming they're easily available.
Yes, you can go on the CRC website and look at the it's actually the report.
Yeah, I've never actually done that.
Yeah, look at the DIO's report. It's could it be better? Yes, but the thing is that one of the things that we're dealing with here, especially from a industry perspective, is that when you look at the numbers, we're doing awesome numbers and everything like that with only 30% of participation of municipalities in the state. Yeah. So we're only in second gear. You know what I'm saying? Remember when we legalized for adult use, you had a lot of municipalities opt out because they didn't know what this was. They didn't understand.
Marina, I don't know if you know Marina, but Lefty, she's going back to Sayreville perhaps because they've opted out. But now that it's not a Schedule I drug, you actually get to have the exact same conversation over and give them the back door.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, what they're doing is they're saying in Sayreville, we'll give you way worse drugs through prescription 2, Schedule 2. Yeah, we'll accommodate you for opiates, but you're going to have to go somewhere else for your Schedule 3 lesser. It's sort of like just to give them a chance to do that, but it doesn't take any real work. Just what I said last time, only take this into account.
Well, remember when I said we have to, now, it would be irresponsible not to have the whole conversation, not part of the conversation, which
all of it.
Social justice, but the whole conversation. And part of that too is also explaining to, decision makers, lawmakers, the whole 9 yards, like there's the potential to create independent economic ecosystems because there are so many symbiotic relationships, especially from the ancillary side of this industry, you know what I'm saying, that actually could bring, even more revenue to a municipality, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And most people don't realize that
grow lights.
You got the ancillary side of this business makes 1.5 to 2 times more than plant touching. Okay. And so they always use the example of the California gold rush. You know what I'm saying? They're always saying how, you look at the businesses that sold the shovels, the pickaxes, the wheelbarrows, and
that was it.
Yeah. They made the most money and they didn't even touch the gold. It's the same thing here. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you think about, when you think about accounting, legal fees, plumbing, like you said, lighting, electrician, insurance. You know what I'm saying? Well, these are all things that are happening that
Think
need to-
about it. Patients get the right to grow. The one true thing everybody says is they're not going to be able to grow their own by and large. Very few will. But there are so many people that are proud of their skills. And with it being now Schedule 3, it's probably even easier that if, say, Shore Grow, Hydro,
Yeah.
you know, they're positioning themselves very well, Green Dragon. I like them both. And it seems like they're starting to understand that patient service for this is therapy for them to see their plants grow. If they can FaceTime with a phone, you know, will you be ready to have somebody on to answer their questions? You know, to do that, not necessarily an in-home visit, but even that to a degree, coming with if they set you up with a grow system. Because somebody's going to make money on it, and this person is going to be able to grow and not spend. It's going to work out for them. But the business end it could be really formidable because grow lights aren't cheap and all, but the technology now, it's easier, I think, and they don't have to grow like what fanatics are able to grow, you know, and they're still going to go get their specialty maybe from a dispensary because maybe they can't grow that. But yeah, I like to make some edibles. I'm a patient. I don't care what I make them out of. Okay.
Well, you know what? Here's the interesting thing. I remember I had a dinner in Atlantic City. No, I was in Newark, and I was talking with Fruquan Mazone, right? And Fruquan asked me. He said, "Leo, how do we get the legislature past home grow?" And I said, here's what we do. I said, remember how they were bugging out about 5 pounds. You know what I'm saying? They thought 5 pounds was El Chapo. Okay, 5 pounds. They couldn't get past expungement up to 5 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And I said, so here's what you do. I said, show them what 6 to 12 plants looks like in every other form but flower. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing is, anybody who's growing that much, you know what I'm saying, they're 9 times out of 10, that's a patient. Okay. And the thing about home grow is that you're going to have a massive, if you get home grow, you have home grow
for patients or for everybody.
Yeah, but wait for I'm talking about for everybody. Okay. If you had home grow for everybody, you know what I'm saying, including if you had it just for patients, right? If you had that, you're gonna have a massive amount of people trying to grow their own weed one time.
Yeah,
all it takes is one time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's all it takes. One time. Because to be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? This is not for everybody. Growing your own cannabis has to be in your heart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's got this ain't everybody ain't got that in them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying, people can. Okay, I would need somebody to guide me through a good grow, but I'm going to be capable of understanding, and I'm going to, it's like cooking myself rather than somebody else cooking for me. But for a patient, if I could offer my services to one patient, just one, to take them under my wing, and I'll stop by your house and do your grow for you. I can do that. That patient could just watch them grow. And I would be so happy. But I know a lot of regular people who would likely do the same thing. I mean, it's like, this is the kind of thing that it could almost be I'm not saying that the person helping the patient grow isn't going to trim them now and then, trim them and sweep it up and dispose of it. But for me, it's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge thing. There's going to be a patient that's going to love a person that's doing that, and they're going to watch it grow, and they're going to be taken captive by the wonder of it all.
When I'm
they're
in
gonna have-
Trenton,
they're gonna have-
listen to this. When I'm in Trenton, a lot of people come up to me like, "Why are you protesting for this? It's legal. We can grow weed." And I'm like,
Right.
"No, it's not
They
legal
don't
to
know.
grow weed." And predominantly, it's black and brown people coming up to me thinking it's legal to grow weed, and they're growing weed. And I'm like, "Listen, don't tell anyone you're growing weed because it's you can't do it." I had one guy come up to me, a young kid, actually. He was must have been 18. And he says, "What are you doing out here? This is great. I'm glad you're fighting for home grow. My dad was growing weed for his cancer." I'm like, "Oh, wow, okay." He's like, "Yeah, my dad passed away though." I'm like, "Oh, that's. I'm sorry to hear that." He's like, "Yeah, the police came in to the house and shot him. They came into his grow room and shot him." That was in Trenton. Did you hear about that, Leo?
No.
Yeah, I was like, "Whoa." That was it's pretty much
Yeah,
shot.
we'll see. But Lefty, we're the only state in history who legalized for adult use and didn't add home grow to it.
We led
And
the
that's
charge. Yeah.
embarrassing. And the thing about it is that what's even more embarrassing is that we have politicians who don't even know to be embarrassed.
But people don't know, well, because we take it for granted. But we did pass home grow in the Senate. Nick Scutari ushered it through. The guy who's in the way ushered through home grow. 22-16 vote, done with it in the Senate. Badgered Herb Conaway to bring it up. Badgered him, and even asked for a pardon for John Wilson, who is going to be going to jail for 3 to 5 for growing 17 plants. And he asked for a pardon based on it's going to be legal for patients to grow it here before he's in jail a year. He was offering that because he was blindsided too. But what a history. We were going to be the 14th state to have home grow, and Herb Conaway's never had to say what happened. Never. Well, he's running for Congress, and he ain't going to be able to duck me for long. And that question is going to be asked. I'm on it. But believe me when I say,
And this is why I'm always saying, we have to what we have to do is mobilize that cannabis vote. It has to be real. Look, we broke the record for ballot referendums when it comes to cannabis in New Jersey.
Yeah, better than 2-1.
Yeah, we get what 70% of the vote.
It's a little under, his upper 60s, but it was actually a huge surprise to me. I wouldn't have expected it to reach 60.
I didn't think it was going to be so overwhelming.
Yeah, no, I mean it was going to happen, but you'd have to be old and know the Boston Celtics. But Red Auerbach wouldn't have lit his cigar yet. Back in the day when he knew his Boston team had the game won, he'd light a cigar sitting on the bench, and he was never wrong. It was a way of anyway. Yeah. So anyway, we didn't know that for a fact, but it was huge, But for other states that have been having trouble, Schedule 3 is going to soften that path immediately. Because I know a lot of that argument is, what about the federal government? We can't do this and we can't do that. And what? Not only can you now do it, you should. And if you don't, you got to have an explanation why you want somebody to start with a dangerous Schedule 2 drug before a Schedule 3 for the same thing. Oh, do I look like I'm looking forward to this?
Yeah.
I can't wait till I try it out on somebody that I'm angry at.
Yeah. Look, right now, we have to be we have to be very strategic about the way we move on things. And I'll be honest with you, Jim. Especially at this point, we're gonna have to start. Doing some, getting some allies, and coming together and actually having meetings of the minds. You know what I'm saying? I believe that when you look at, you should definitely get in touch with.
His phone died.
Whose phone died?
I think his phone died.
Who's
Who?
that?
That's the look of a phone that just, well, maybe not. He's back.
Hey, listen, I got it's after 9. I'm having such a good time. I'm like kind of late for something.
Oh,
I can't hardly see it. That's why I keep leaning and looking. Is that? Oh, it's already after 9. Yeah.
You
wait,
wanna
wait,
do-
Hey man, we do this like every Thursday, and Tuesday, which is the board meeting, Lefty.
Tuesday, every Tuesday.
Tuesday. So this is like, when you're available, let Lefty know,
absolutely. Hey,
hang out at
we need to
Lefty's
look at-
Playhouse.
we need to look at getting together with Safita Artist Mills and Redman with the United Empowerment Party and having a conversation with them. Especially since we're in an election year.
Let's
And we're
start
6
throwing
months
it
out.
all on. Let's throw it all on the table and start sorting the shit out, man.
Absolutely.
Because
Lee, you know
You know,
anybody who builds ramps? I need to build
Do
a
I-
wheelchair ramp.
where
You know what? Again, something else. Like I was listening to what you were saying. I was like, damn, I didn't realize that was a problem. I thought that was like, and I'm gonna tell you why, because I went to go visit Tahir Johnson at Simply Pure.
He's got a big
And-
ramp.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So I just assumed, what I'm saying, oh, okay, bet, what I'm saying, wheelchair access and everything like that was something that was a mandatory thing and it was built in. You see what I'm saying? That it was mandatory because the way Tahir was doing it, I was like, oh shit, okay, my man. You know what I'm saying? At least that'll keep. And I remember I made the comment. I said, well, at least you ain't got to worry about Lefty getting on your damn nerves. You know what I'm saying? Because I do think that when I go in places, I'll be like, "Hey, you better go get a ramp or some kind of attachment that you could put out here because you don't want Lefty Grimes coming up here talking about where's this ramp at because he can make life real difficult for you. I mean, this motherfucker takes showers with awards, so I mean, come on, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta realize what you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and be careful to not make it sound like a challenge to Lefty.
Oh,
challenge accepted. Yeah,
We just want ramps. We don't care how we get them. We'll be nice.
Lefty seemed disappointed when we went to Willie Beamer's what turned out to be a dismissal. Thought it was going to be a hearing. And what was that in Gloucester County? Lefty, was that Gloucester? Yeah. So what happened was
Atlantic City.
we were. He's looking
Salem.
across the street, and it's kind of old, quaint part of New Jersey, and there's just storefronts all across the street, and he's looking like they're all accessible. It's almost like shit. They're all accessible. Nobody to pick on, So he picked on a crosswalk around the corner and. That ended up going to shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that crosswalk at the
But he couldn't just be there for the celebration of a dismissal, where all we did then was smoke right in front of the courthouse for a couple of hours, and
so you guys were doing smoking
no
weed.
trouble for anybody until Lefty's like, quick, there's cops who are gonna fight, whatever. He was being fought. Did you get that psych exam then? Was that day, Lefty?
Yeah, they gave me a quick psych exam.
Yeah, an official quick psych exam. They held him for that and asked him, do you sometimes think people are following you?
Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
Right here.
There's 4 police officers following him.
There,
Then they
guy.
make him take a psych exam and ask him, do you feel like people are following you? Well, if he didn't feel like people were following him, would have been the trick because maybe it'd have been in trouble because they were following you. I mean, what kind of question is that?
How to play
Hey, we're following you, but we want to ask you something.
It's the game. It's the game. That's how they play the game.
Yeah, but making them play the game is just kind of funny because they get so. I just wish he'd go away. We're not getting anything here from him. He's not going over the edge. He actually knows what he's talking about.
Now, before we go, I just want to. I would be remiss if I did not bring up the fact that we are coming up on Memorial Day weekend in this month of May, and this is that time period where things get to be this is a tough time for a lot of veterans, particularly those of us who have lost friends or battle buddies who paid the ultimate the ultimate price, the ultimate sacrifice, who made the ultimate sacrifice, so that we can enjoy the freedoms and liberties that we have here in this country. And when we think about access to this plant and the medicine, I think that's something else that we need to, first of all, just realize, people, it's veterans. I mean, it's Memorial Day weekend, so this is where we honor those who have died. The ones that are still here, just realize we're alive.
And still, people are going to say Happy Memorial Day, the biggest mistake you can make.
Happy
you're
Veterans
going
Day.
to.
Happy Memorial Day, and you'd be like,
you're going to hear that,
right? And so that's why I want to, this is my PSA. You know what I'm saying? Especially I'm thinking about some people, right now. I get like this every Memorial Day weekend, especially when I feel it coming up. You know what I'm saying? And I get the phone calls and stuff like that, and just thinking about certain people, just wish they could see me now, but hey y'all, like if you want to honor their sacrifice, this is what you do. You call your local representative, and you tell them that you want cannabis descheduled, and you want wait a minute, so probably my brother. Yes. Oh, is that Clint? I think so. Yeah, it is Clint. Yeah, we were in Iraq together. You know what I'm saying? What up, Clint? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, wow. That's my man. Yeah, that's my man. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that, we need to, like, let's channel that energy into productive movement. You know what I'm saying? And let's get civically engaged again. This is how you honor those sacrifices, by voting. And listen, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. That's not what I'm after. And I always tell this to people. I am not. I know who I would like for you to vote for, but I'm not going to tell you that. You know what I'm saying? What I am after is active voters. I need those numbers. You know what I'm saying? Especially, and I use Trenton as the example, because in Trenton there are over 35,000 registered voters. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at actual active voters, you know what I'm saying? Out of that, it's 38,000. Out of that 38,000 registered voters, only 8,000 actually vote. That's horrible. You know what I'm saying? And so if you had 30,000 people actually voting, then what happens is that's a presidential campaign coming to your city to talk to you. You got candidates that come talk to you. The reason why the Iowa caucuses and all that stuff is important is because they have those are places where people actually vote. They're not so turned off that they walk away from their civic responsibilities. They actually vote. And that's why, when you see these presidential campaigns, they're always worried. That's why they always stop there and they go to these different places, because they look at the number of people who actually vote. So if you really want to thank me for my service, please register and go vote.
That's well put, and it follows that if you're serving for everybody's right to vote, not voting is doing a disservice. It's you don't need a yellow ribbon as much as you need a vote. No matter who you vote for, use the process. And encourage others to do. Yeah. So that will be a good way. I don't. Of course I'll vote, but I think I can probably urge a couple people myself. I stop and look at my friends. Are you really make sure you're going to vote, or are you registered to vote?
Mhm.
You know, we used to always have the paperwork to register somebody to vote. You know, we
Yeah,
should start doing that again, Lefty. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
you know what? It's not. It's
I
no
never thought
longer.
of that.
Yeah, it's no longer enough to just get registered.
Well, we,
you know
we
what?
could register people to vote on 7/10 on
Yep.
Patients Awareness Day. You know,
And listen, you know, hey, Jim, Lefty, local elections are taking place next month. Mayors and city councils are being are up for grab next month.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
and primaries too. You know, just voting in a
And
primary.
primaries.
You know,
Yep. Yep.
it just whoever you vote for, you know, shows an
Next
interest.
year, we're voting for a new governor. It's not going to be Murphy. You know what I'm saying? We're voting for a new governor in next year. You know, and if you look at the way this gubernatorial race is looking like, especially for the primaries, you got, you know, Raz Baraka out of Newark. You know, you got Steve Fulop out of Jersey City. You know, yeah, you got Mickey. What's Mickey's last? Mickey Sherrill. You know what I'm saying? You got Chittarelli. You know what I'm saying, from the Republican side. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot, and hey, I'm just waiting to hear if Steve Sweeney going to try to make a return to politics. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know,
I think he is.
yeah,
and we're also forgetting the one who could try to outrun his mistakes would be Nick Scutari. You know.
Yeah. Well,
but he'd have to give up his Senate seat to do it. So that won't
I
be
don't think he's going.
happening.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to run for governor.
Oh, I think he's got plenty of time and knows he does. He knows now is not his time, but I'll bet he's already looking 4 years to the future and doing a little positioning. That's how he is, you know. He calls himself the godfather of cannabis in New Jersey. He says, "Yeah, Pete. Some people call me the godfather of cannabis in New Jersey." Well, he didn't say it like that. That was more like Beavis or Butthead, but you know what I mean.
Honestly, I didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
no, he says that. Yeah, but anyway, so listen, I'm gonna run. This has been great. This has been fun.
Leo, before you go, one quick question: what is
Yes,
your
sir.
favorite munchy food right now?
He asks everybody.
What's my favorite munchy food?
Yeah, what's your go-to
TV
munchies
right now? That's your.
Oh wow! You know what I'm saying? It could be.
You don't have one. Awesome.
Well, it depends on what's upstairs, but
Yeah, that. But what if you had it all?
all right, if I had it my way, it would be cherry tomatoes with some ranch dressing on the side.
Oh, that sounds pretty good. See, I got a cop to not healthy. The cheese doodles, the hot ones, the hot cheese doodles.
Those are the best.
Yeah, man. Because you don't have to eat a lot. You know, I mean, of all things. And orange juice for something to drink. It gets dry. Orange juice every time.
I go with cranberry juice.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Cranberry juice.
Put that together, and you don't have to add vodka, but they go together really good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, yeah, you know what I'm saying. But
Great mix.
That's there you have it. Cherry tomatoes with some ranch dressing and some cranberry juice, and I'm good.
There you go.
What about a hot meal?
For a hot meal.
Good question.
Yeah. All right. So if I was like you said, if I had anything, it would be oxtails.
Oxtail.
Never had oxtails.
Ooh.
You have different kinds of oxtails, like barbecued oxtails or garlic oxtails.
Actually, yeah, I would go with Jamaican oxtails.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jamaican oxtails with rice and beans.
Where do you get that in Trenton?
All right, so
Warren
I would
Street.
say you got Hummingbird right there on Warren Street. Then you got the Bamboo Grill on Chambers Street. And then you have All Stars out in West Trenton. You know, there's a number of places. Bamboo Grill is out in East Trenton. All Stars is in West Trenton. Hummingbird is in downtown Trenton. You got the Scotch Bonnet Kitchen too. You know, so
nice.
some places you can go to.
Yeah.
Let's
say so in a town the size of Trenton, I call it a town.
Yeah.
You're at no loss if you want to get something you really want that you like. You can be pretty much anywhere and be near Oxford.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I always
There you
tell
go.
people, like because I live in Trenton, that means that I live on the extreme west coast of the state of New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
And so, as far as I'm concerned, as soon as you cross over into Mooresville in Pennsylvania, everything from Mooresville on is West Coast to me. Okay, and so and so there are certain nuances to this area that you have to be from here in order to know. For instance, people in Pennsylvania actually come to New Jersey to get their gas, but people in New Jersey go to Pennsylvania to get their cigarettes.
Yeah.
And so, tourists wouldn't know that. You know what I'm saying? And it's normal for somebody to go from Philly to New York every day for work. I mean, it's people that go from DC to New York every day for work.
Well, the gas stations by Burlington Bristol Bridge have regularly lower prices and little mini gas wars at times. Like, whoa,
Yeah.
It's sizable. I mean,
to the benefit of the consumers, yes.
Yeah, and even you can then go 20 miles away in Jersey and it's 30 cents more. I mean, that kind of big at times,
Bro, you can go from one side of Trenton to the other and it'd be like a 21 cent difference. You know what I'm saying? That makes it worth it.
I got to go pay the piper now, and I got to go make nice. And sorry, I didn't notice what time it was.
It's okay. I take responsibility. I don't think you guys would expect.
I'm just getting in the mood. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh man, can you believe how quick it got to be this? Oh no.
It's 9:30. Okay, But look,
I do this. I go out like I just realized. See, put the glasses on first. Go out Chuck Schumer like, subtle.
But look, Lefty, Jim, I love you guys. I miss you
right
guys.
back at you, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you
came. Thank you again for everything that you've done for me. Thank you again for everything that you have taught me. And
let's put that all to good use now. I mean, we're there.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Bro.
And I sincerely mean it. I love you guys. I really do. I love you.
Right back,
Love you too, man.
All right.
All right, Lefty. Y'all
All
take
right,
it easy, all right?
We're gonna do the list here and get out of here ourselves.
All right, brother. Take care.
Speaking of Memorial Day, but before we get to the list, cmmmnj.org, Canna Sense, UFCW, JacksonStorms.com, Smoking Monkey, Arlo Glass, OprahMachine.com, and SativaCross.org, where you can donate on the front page of SativaCross.org. And our list begins with Cheryl Miller, Jim's late wife. Are we smoking another? Yes. Why not? You need some? You need something to smoke? You want to smoke the Johnny Burger?
Yeah, why the hell not?
We haven't tried it yet, right?
It's the end of the night. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
What? Famous last words. Hold my beer.
Why not? I should have said, you might not want to do that.
Yeah, let's think about this first.
Oh no, we're doing this. You got a rap? I mean, not a rap.
Yes.
Filter. Yeah, probably should have said rap too.
You need a wrap too?
Yeah. It's
Okie dokie.
if I use all of mine, probably be a little bit foggy.
I might have one left. No, I should have two left. All right. There's beautiful chocolate wrap. I can smell it from here.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I love that smell. These are very wonderful. I'm not going to say the name, but they're chocolate stout wraps. If you know, you know. And they stink.
They stink so good.
So our list begins with Cheryl. Sabina. She was a 15-month-old baby who had a 25-hour seizure, waiting for her cannabis card in the mail to come. And she was delayed and delayed and delayed by Governor Chris Christie. We've been speaking about him tonight. Yeah, he delayed. He killed that little girl, pretty much. There's blood on his hands for that one. Putting delays on these. He thought the program was a joke while people were suffering. A lot of politicians thought that. They made jokes about it. Senator Cody made jokes about it as well. When they passed medical cannabis, he made a joke. He picked up the phone. He's like, "Hey, Michael Phelps, got legal weed? Got any weed?" So some stupid joke. It wasn't even funny. Stigmatizing patients. Diane Ripatella, Gracie, Cindy Mae, Marie from Pennsylvania. She had cancer. Joan Ford was William's mother. William never got back to us today. It's too bad. His mom wrote a book about epilepsy, growing up with epilepsy in the 40s. And it was pretty amazing to me because back then the Catholic nuns used to throw holy water on Joan, thinking she was possessed by the devil. And even back, you know what's crazy? Julius Caesar had seizures. Did you know that? He used to have seizures behind the front lines, and his Roman legions, you would think that he's talking to the gods. But he had it was called a falling sickness. He would fall down and have these convulsions.
And then what? He would get up and win the war? What the hell?
Yeah, I guess it would inspire the men.
I mean, jeez, if it works, it works. I got to fake a seizure in the middle of the battlefield to get my men to be uplifted. Let's do this, Johnny. We lose it.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
What we do now?
So
a little bit of someone else's history.
And the reason why the color purple is for epilepsy is because it's a royal color, and a lot of royal houses had epilepsy for some reason. There's some kind of genetic thing with epilepsy in the royalty, like Caesar and those lineages. It's just what I heard. Look it up. The color purple has it's royalty, but it's also the color of epilepsy for that reason. Yeah, interesting.
Learn something new every day.
So they used to throw holy water on Joan, thinking that she was having
Joan of Arc?
Joan Ford.
Ford.
And yeah, and the nuns would say, "Stay away from Joan. She's possessed by the devil. She's possessed." And all the kids would shun Joan because they thought she was possessed by the devil.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Stigma in the 40s. We had some ignorant people in the 40s.
Way before that.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying.
You're going to go there. Go there.
Ignorant people everywhere, every time. It's really bad.
Oh, in the 40s. Like it wasn't none of the 30s.
Like
20s,
even
10s. It just happened in the 40s.
it just started in the 40s, all that ignorance.
Let's just go back to the beginning.
But I'm trying not to fight ignorance with ignorance anymore.
Shit. Looks like a charm.
It's hard. It's hard, but I'm learning patience because I drive past my ignorance every day. I go to Broadway now. It's sinking in. It's sinking in that this light should have been for a blind person. Why isn't this light for a blind person? Why didn't I know? Why didn't I think ahead of time to know this shit? Should be my job to know this
See, here's a great idea after the fact.
after the fact. So we can retrofit them, sure, but should have got I spent 4 years on it. Should have got that light. I wish Jimmy had gotten to me sooner. I hadn't seen Jimmy in 40 years, man. 40 years. I wound up going to school with him back in St. Mary's. We went to school together. And he wasn't blind back then. But he is now. And he said, "Lefty, can you get a light for me?" And which I had no idea was for blind people. So I can't get too mad at other ignorant people because I'm reminded of my ignorance every day now. God has a way of smacking you in the head and say, "Hey, you ain't so smart. You ain't so tough, and you ain't so smart."
Yeah, it's like, hey, open your eyes, dummy.
Like, wait a minute. And have a little forethought, a little extra planning beforehand. Just like with these dispensaries, who would have known that these dispensaries would not have access? That wasn't a thing. Every dispensary I was in had access. But given there's police stations and post offices without wheelchair access,
Are you surprised?
I shouldn't be
They
surprised.
don't want to call us.
Oh, there's no bell. There's no in South Amboy. There's no bell. There's no nothing. You just gotta knock on the window, I guess.
No, what you not understanding, bro? What I mean by call us, I mean like stay your ass home and call us. Sit in the parking lot on your cell phone and call us.
Hmm.
We got you. Just don't come in here.
Yeah, well, if something really bad happened to you and you got mugged and you're just willing yourself to the police station, you don't have a cell phone. You're lucky to even be alive, and you're trying to get in there. You can't. And you
Well,
can't get in.
Do the next best thing. Fall on the ground outside in the camera in your wheelchair.
So you can do bang on the window, maybe. Maybe they'll see you.
No, there's plenty of cops there. Somebody will see you. Fall on the ground.
I couldn't believe South Amboy had no access like that. That was pretty wild seeing that.
That's
Even
wild that you can't believe it, but whatever.
Well, even Bayonne at night.
Again, that's wild. You can't believe it, but
Mm.
again,
It's a police station.
so it's designed for them to come out, not for you to go in. They also got a number designed for you to call for them to come to you. I'm just saying.
Yeah, even Bayonne at night, you can't get in there. And if you go to Bayonne during the day now, the side door is locked. So if you come down the elevator in your wheelchair, you can't go down those stairs and get out of the building. You're stuck there.
Yeah.
You're literally stuck there in that hallway.
Yeah, it kind of sucks when you're not even just for people with wheelchairs, because it's okay for them when they're coming up in the hallway. You got to go through the front, fine. What about people who are handicapped who can't walk that far and need that side door to get right there, so they ain't got to do all the walking around to the front and all the walking through the hallway, all the way walking to the back to get to the hallway that you need with the staircase literally right in front of you?
Mm-hmm.
Confused.
Mm-hmm.
What's it all for, y'all? Y'all don't need it as much as the public do. Mind you, that's not only the police station, it is also the courthouse.
Yeah.
And everything else you have to do municipal in this town. And they make it so hard and inaccessible in certain areas because you can't open doors. And there are plenty of doors in the building. But you have to come in the front. And I get it. Safety reasons, security. Well, put somebody back there as security. You ain't worrying about me being security. What am I going to do? Run away? This is why I need this door in the first place. Like, come on.
Counter space.
I can't take it.
Go in there when you sign in.
I can't take it.
There's no counter space for a wheelchair.
Mm-mm.
If I'm in my chair, I got to reach up.
Mm-mm.
Not thought out very well.
Or take it down.
Yeah, that whole thing is new. They didn't have that there before. Why do we need to sign in to go into a building?
Because this is the courthouse. It's their municipal building, and it's their courthouse. You got to sign into every courthouse. You're lucky they ain't wander you down or giving you the
Upstairs they do. Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to go up there to do it. In the other courthouse, it doesn't matter what you're doing in that building. When you walk through there, you get in the metal detector. You know what I'm saying? They give you grace here. Like, you could at least get halfway through the building before.
Well, yeah, because Bayonne is a courthouse as well.
Yeah, you can get halfway through the building and damn near find what you're looking for before you get wound down. Just saying.
Yeah. Now they wind you up.
It's not a thought I'm trying to put in anybody's head. It's just an open spot. I've noticed.
I went to Jersey City Courthouse and
You ain't getting in there.
I get in there with the wheelchair on the bottom floor there. And then
But never mind that. You still go to a metal detector, even in your wheelchair, and they still wand you down.
They said, "You have a wallet and keys?" I said, "Here's my wallet and keys." I went through, and they wanded me down real quick.
I'm telling you, they don't play. They make you lean forward, wand you back. No.
I lifted my arms. I didn't ask me, but I lifted them anyway. I was just being nice.
It's the Caucasian in you. I get it.
I had my dabber in my pocket.
I'm telling you,
I could have had anything in my pocket.
Because they would have been all up my back. Wow, 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 wow. That's my belt, bro. I got screws in my back. What you want?
could have had anything in that wheelchair.
Want to ask me questions? You got screws in your back? Here, let me see the scars. Come on, man. You violated.
I'm feeling kind of violated.
I'm like, you violating. Why you asking me so many questions?
Feeling mad?
You feeling suspicious?
Are you feeling kind of sad, dude? Yeah, you're.
Yeah. But you got to finish the list. Let's go.
I'm feeling violated.
Oh, no. Finish the list.
I need to break this list up.
Yeah. Can we add another name to it?
Another name. Oh, man. Really?
Just passed away. Probably sometime this week. I always find stuff out through Facebook. I believe it was colon cancer.
Colon cancer?
His name was Marcus.
Marcus? How'd you know Marcus?
Huh? My cousin.
That's your cousin?
Is here?
We're going to add Marcus to the list. Randy Robertson. They gave Randy Robertson the Whipple procedure before they gave him medical cannabis. Polly, Bill Buckman, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger, Jay, Ella, Addie, Jackie, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia. Armando, man, that was my buddy. He had tailbone cancer. I never heard of tailbone cancer before, but I used to dab him out. He used to be my mechanic. And I would go over there and I would dab him the F out in the morning. Right in the morning. And he'd be out there smoking weed anyway. And he had the best stories. Because he said, I don't know if this is true or not, but it's funny. But he said when he'd be out there smoking weed in the field by the cars, he'd always pull his dick out. And so anybody coming over there would think he's taking a pee instead of smoking weed. I said, man, that's brilliant.
I mean, yeah, if you want to think about it, that's ingenious. The guy has figured out a cheat code. It's a side.
It works. Nobody goes near him.
It only works on the people, not the police. That might bring them quicker. Just saying. They might let you get away with smoking a little weed, but running around with your dick out, they might have a problem with that.
Yeah, I saw the other pictures of that too. That was scary. With the security camera caught some guy with his whacking it in public.
Whack-a-mole? Waka.
Why would you whack it in public?
Well, if you're asking him, why not? Waka.
Who was the football player that got caught in Target doing that?
I know.
Kelvin, was it Kelvin? Played for the Jets.
Why?
He was in his car whacking it, and somebody saw him. They called the cops.
Did he have the windows? Did they have to peek through it? I mean, I don't understand.
In a parking lot. What are you doing?
Outside with no tents, no nothing, just whacking off.
Whacking it.
Yeah, bro.
Some people got a thing to do that in public. I don't know why.
No, he needs help. Yeah, he's a sex addict.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was out there looking for anybody in particular. He just needed it in the moment and say, now's a better time than any.
Got some privacy here.
I'm in the car. Ain't nobody in here with me.
He thought he was private, but your privates were not private in that moment. Breaking up this list is rough. Because Armando was cool. He was funny. We used to have fun together. These are my friends and my family on this list. This is the reason why we have this list. It's to make you sad, but to make you remember, to maybe to give you some hope, maybe to give you some help. I don't know. Take something out of it.
Yeah, maybe feel like you're not the only one.
Yeah, you're not the
Sure.
only one going through some shit right now.
Yeah, but sometimes you can. You can feel like that. Feel like you're the only person going through that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not. Unfortunately, there will be somebody in this world who would love to have your problems. So let's make the best of everything that happens. Roll with the punches.
Is it Marcus with a C or a Q?
Let's see. I don't think it much matters at this point, but I love your thoroughness.
The what?
I said I don't think it much matters at this point, but I love your thoroughness.
Thoroughness. Well, I gotta get it right.
As long as you say it right, who cares?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Live live is only a difference when you use it in a certain sentence. It's all about how you say it.
We're up to Felicia.
Tomato.
We're up to Lynn, Dan, Marine vet Sean McKay from Suicide, Joyce Fortini from Cancer, Lori McBride, Frank, Jim's buddy Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne Peters, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Terry had diabetes. He's a dude from Trenton.
Me too.
And he, I don't know if he wasn't taking care of his diabetes or he couldn't afford the health care to take care of his diabetes. I'm not sure. But when they found him, his levels were like hundreds.
He didn't care.
Hundreds and hundreds when they found him. He was like incoherent. His levels were off the charts.
He didn't care. Unfortunate to say.
And then
I'm a diabetic.
went to
I could say that.
700 or 800. It was just spiked.
Because when mine went that high and I did what I did and I got what I got from it, it was because at the moment I didn't care. I knew what was happening and I didn't care. I let it happen. It was too late. One thing or another was the reason, It wasn't because I was saying, oh, let me just let this happen. No, things were happening. I couldn't stop in the moment. Didn't see it going, but knew it was happening. You know what I mean? And that led to other things. Thank God it didn't lead to that. Unfortunate for me.
Charlotte, Cher, Jaybird, Michael. Michael was young. He had drop seizures as well. Marley Sheen, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lulu, Becky, LaWanda, Chip, Paul, Lisa, Marcus, was he able to get like cannabis for his treatment at all? Was it helping?
I'm not really sure at the moment because I haven't, talked to anybody for any correspondence. I literally just found out when I was sitting here.
Really? Oh wow. Damn, I'm sorry.
My other cousin had posted it.
Oh, man.
That's not bad. Not bad. Very harsh, but it's airy. It's a little airy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe at the end, just sit it down.
I like it. So that's our list, ladies and gentlemen.
Feeling mad.
No, I'm not feeling sad.
Not at all.
I'm not feeling sad at all. I feel hopeful.
Wonderful.
Hopeful. Yeah, I feel hopeful today.
I feel wonderful. I always feel hopeful.
Yeah, I feel hopeful.
Always. You know, I try to be positive every day. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But I try.
I try, and today I'm succeeding.
Yeah.
I'm winning today.
I'm definitely winning.
We're
today.
winning today.
So I feel good.
Winning the war on joy stealers.
Yeah, man.
He's stealing our joy today.
Stay over there, buddy. Not today, Satan.
No, not even the sadness and intenseness of this list is going to steal our joy, because this list drives me to do what I do. And a lot of people are driven by this list to do stuff. So it's helpful. Leo, too. Leo knows people on this list. Leo's been fighting with us for years. He knows the struggle, man. And I did dab him out for the first time. That was great. Dabbed him out. Dabbed out Roger Barber for the first time. And Weed Man dabbed me out for the first time. Many years ago, we're sitting in the courthouse. He had to go to court for some shit. And I'm sitting there with him, and he had some wax, yellow wax from California. I've never seen it before. I'm like, what is this? He's like, oh, it's wax. You want to try it? I'm like, yeah.
Did you have to ask?
The best ever. I felt like I was high for the first time again. It's like, woo. And it's funny because he dropped it in the court, he dropped it somewhere. And we drove away. He called me back. He's like, yo, I dropped that shit at the courthouse. I was like, really?
All of it?
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's like a gram in a little. I went back there and I got it. And I enjoyed it. I loved it. It was the best thing ever. I'm like, I never went back. I'm like, I'm going to quit smoking weed. Now when I smoke weed, I smoke blunts. You don't see me smoking joints anymore. I just, They ain't working for me. I don't.
It don't work. It doesn't do much. It's regular.
Even bong
I
hits.
feel like I'm wasting weed.
Yeah, even bong hits. I don't.
Yeah, I got like a little baby bong that I concocted with a bottle because I had the little top piece. And when I used to use it, it wasn't the same type of, high. So I was like, you know what? You can keep that. I don't. Let me get a blunt here. Let me get a blunt.
Yeah, I enjoy blunts more than anything. Especially lately.
Yeah.
Especially lately. Got a smorgasbord of weed here. I bought, instead of buying an ounce, I bought 8/8. And I'm having fun.
Hell yeah.
I'm just enjoying the shit out of it.
Plus what I got.
Plus what we're
I
just
got it extremes with them. So we just be smoking.
Woo.
Mix this with that. Mix that with this. What did we have last time? I forgot.
It doesn't matter.
I remember it by the jar. Look at the jar.
At this point, it don't even matter. We get such crazy strains here.
Just look at the jar.
I always wanted to grow up to be this old where I'm smoking this kind of crazy weed.
And now you are.
And we are. We're here. So stay back, joy stealers. We got our joy.
Hey, man.
To pass weed to you with a car. Who would have thought? Doing dumb shit. That's great.
We nicknamed this place we're gonna nickname this place the Bear Cave.
Bear Cave.
Yeah, we come
I
in
like
like
that.
hibernated, and not let anybody steal our joy.
Yeah.
From the haters.
Get away, haters.
Yeah. Get away from the cold-hearted people.
Yeah.
We go hibernate from the cold-hearted people.
You can watch us.
Yeah.
That's about it.
But we in the Bear Cave, baby.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, Thursday nights are great, man.
I don't know if it's worth a podcast appearance, but an early podcast appearance. I don't know if Johnny Burger is worth an early podcast appearance.
No, that's gonna mess us up.
Maybe evening podcast appearance.
That'll make me screw up my buttons.
Yeah, late podcast.
I'm hitting the wrong buttons here.
These random buttons. What you doing? Huh?
I can keep it hard for 2 hours at a time.
Oh God.
I'm a woman's dream. I got a dick hung on me 9 inches long.
That's my favorite.
Sir, we didn't ask you that.
Nobody asked you. Nobody asked you. Oh, see, this is where I have to switch the audio because they can't hear crap right now. It's a cappella. They might not even hear the samples. Hit echo cancellation, and now we're good. Not anymore.
Feeling mad.
Nope.
You're feeling mad.
I didn't.
You're feeling mad. You're feeling mad.
No.
You're feeling mad. Feeling mad.
No.
You're, yeah. Oh.
Nope. I'm going to try to read this with the outro music. I actually have to read it because I get thrown off. Throws me off. I'm not doing it to the beat. You can't. You just got to read it. There's no beat to this. And it doesn't sound good when you put it to a beat. Maybe you could. They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, at the end aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old, that are not grow old. Age shall not worry them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. See you next time.
One.